A quiet ranch, a horse running across golden fields, and in the middle of it all Amy Fleming, standing still, her heart heavy with memories of the past. But this season, something changes. Heartland Season 19 brings not just a return to the ranch we all love, but a story that will test Amy in ways she never imagined. A story about loss, healing, and the courage to open her heart again. And at the center of it all is a man named Nathan, someone who will walk into her life like a storm, and perhaps like a light. As Season 19 begins, Heartland feels both familiar and different. The land is still alive with the sounds of horses, the wind rushing through the trees, and the deep bond of family. But for Amy, everything has changed. The weight of her past is still with her. Every corner of the ranch reminds her of the people she has lost, and the love that once filled her days. There's strength in her eyes, but also a quiet sadness. She has worked hard to keep the ranch going, to be there for her daughter, and to hold her family together. Yet inside, there is a space that feels empty. That's where this new chapter begins. Heartland has always been about more than horses. It's about family, about hope, and about finding your way home when life feels uncertain. And in Season 19, Amy's story carries those themes deeper than ever. We see her stepping into new challenges on the ranch, facing tough choices, and slowly beginning to realize that healing doesn't just mean surviving, it means allowing yourself to feel again. Enter Nathan. He's not just another character. He's a presence that shakes the ground beneath Amy's feet. At first, he's simply a stranger with a past of his own, someone who seems drawn to the ranch and the life Amy has built. But his arrival sparks something: questions, doubts, and maybe even the start of something Amy thought she had closed the door on forever. This is the setup for Heartland Season 19. A season not only about horses and wide open skies, but about second chances. About whether Amy can find the courage to let someone in, even after all she has endured. And about how Nathan's presence will change everything for better or worse. Amy Fleming has always been the heart of Heartland. From the very first season, we've watched her grow from a determined young girl into a woman who carries the ranch, the family, and her daughter with quiet strength. But in Season 19, her story takes us deeper than ever before. For Amy, strength has become second nature. She knows how to heal horses, how to calm a storm in the arena, and how to keep moving forward when life knocks her down. But what she cannot so easily control are the feelings that live in her heart: the grief, the loneliness, and the question of whether she's meant to find happiness again. The beauty of Amy's journey is not just in her resilience, but in her vulnerability. There are moments when she smiles, and we see the same spark that's been with her since the beginning. But there are also moments of silence, where her eyes drift into the distance, heavy with thoughts of the past. This season dares to ask, how long can someone carry their pain before they finally let go? For Amy, Season 19 becomes a mirror. Every challenge at the ranch, every bond she repairs, every horse she saves, each one reflects her own unspoken battle. It's not just about fixing what's broken around her. It's about learning how to mend the pieces of her own heart. And as the episodes unfold, we see her wrestling with something she's avoided for so long. The idea that healing isn't just about surviving loss, it's about daring to live fully again. This is what makes Amy's arc so powerful this season. She isn't just moving forward for her daughter or for her family. She's beginning to understand that her own happiness matters too. And that's where Nathan comes in, not as a savior, not as someone to replace what's been lost, but as a reminder that life can still surprise her. He represents possibility, a spark of something Amy never thought she would feel again. And that possibility terrifies her just as much as it gives her hope. In Season 19, Amy's emotional story is more than a continuation of her past, it's a turning point. A choice between staying safe in the comfort of her memories or stepping into a future that could be brighter, riskier, and far more emotional than she ever imagined. Nathan's arrival in Season 19 feels like a spark in the quiet night. He isn't introduced with fanfare or drama, he simply steps into the Heartland world, carrying a weight in his eyes that tells us he too has lived through storms. To the outside world, he may seem like just another ranch hand, another visitor passing through, but the truth is far more complicated. Nathan is not a man defined by where he came from, but by the scars he hides. And it's those scars that make him so important to Amy's journey. From the very beginning, Nathan is different. He doesn't try to impress. He doesn't force his way into the ranch's rhythm. Instead, he listens. He works quietly with the horses, showing patience and respect that remind Amy of something she thought she might never see again, a person who understands without needing to speak. But beneath his calm surface lies a story of his own, a past that he doesn't share easily. That silence draws Amy in, and also unsettles her. Who is this man who seems to know her struggles without even asking? As their paths cross more often, Nathan becomes both a comfort and a challenge. He isn't afraid to question Amy, to hold up a mirror to her choices. At times, his presence feels like an echo of what she has lost, making her pull away. Yet in other moments, he brings a sense of hope, reminding her that she doesn't have to carry her burdens alone. This tension, the push and pull between Amy's guarded heart and Nathan's quiet persistence, is what shapes the season's emotional core. What makes Nathan so unique is that he isn't written as a replacement or a solution. He is not there to erase Amy's past or fill an empty space. Instead, he represents something far more complicated: the possibility of change. He is a test of Amy's willingness to trust again, to open herself to the risk of loss, but also to the chance of love. His presence is a question mark, hanging over every decision Amy makes this season. Will she shut him out to protect herself? Or will she let him in and discover a new chapter she never thought possible? And for fans, Nathan is more than just a character. He is the symbol of what Heartland has always been about: growth, connection, and the belief that even the most broken hearts can find their way back to the light. His story weaves into Amy's, like two rivers meeting, carrying both beauty and turbulence. Season 19 asks us to watch closely, because Nathan is not just passing through. He is here to change everything. At its heart, Season 19 of Heartland is not just about horses, or family, or even romance. It is about the fragile, unspoken journey of healing, the kind of healing that doesn't happen in a single moment, but over years, in small steps, in stolen glances, and in quiet choices. Amy's world has always been defined by resilience, by her ability to push forward when everything seems lost. But this season, we see something more profound: the courage to embrace vulnerability. Every scene between Amy and Nathan is charged not with grand declarations, but with subtleties. A conversation that ends too soon, a hand brushing past another while working with a horse, a moment of silence where words are too heavy to speak. These are not just romantic gestures, they are the language of two people who understand pain, who recognize it in each other, and who begin to see that pain can also be the bridge towards something new. But Heartland has never been about easy answers, and this season is no exception. The emotional core of Season 19 is the question of second chances. Can Amy allow herself to feel again without betraying the love she has lost? Can Nathan open the doors to his own past? Or will his silence become another wall? Their story is less about falling in love and more about daring to try, about the bravery it takes to risk your heart when it has already been broken. And around them, the ranch remains what it has always been: a living symbol of hope and endurance. The land carries the weight of memories, but also the promise of new beginnings. As Amy and Nathan walk its fields, tend its horses, and share its burdens, we see that Heartland is not only a place, it's a state of being. A reminder that home is not just where you live, but where your soul finds its strength. This is what makes Season 19 so powerful. It is not just another chapter. It is the season that dares to ask the hardest questions. Can love survive loss? Can trust grow out of grief? And can two broken hearts find a way to beat again? Not in spite of the past, but because of it. For Amy, for Nathan, and for the fans who have walked this journey for nearly 2 decades, Season 19 becomes a story of light breaking through shadows. A story of what it truly means to come home. The first look at Heartland Season 19 is more than a preview. It feels like opening a door to a world both familiar and brand new. The teasers do not shout. They whisper. A slow shot of Amy walking across the ranch at sunrise, her hand brushing the mane of a restless horse. A glance exchanged with Nathan, the kind of glance that carries more weight than 1,000 words. A family dinner where silence speaks louder than laughter. These are the moments that build anticipation, not by giving away the story, but by reminding us that every small moment matters in Heartland. One of the most striking images is Amy and Nathan working together in the round pen, a young horse between them. Their movements are cautious, like a dance neither of them expected to join. It's not romance yet, not even close, but there is trust forming in those silences, and the audience feels it. Another shot lingers on Amy alone, standing at the gate, staring out at the open land. Her expression tells us everything. She is torn. She is searching, and this season will demand that she finally choose between the safety of the past and the uncertainty of the future. The teasers also promise tension. A storm rolling over the ranch, family members exchanging sharp words, a horse running wild in the fields echoing Amy's own untamed emotions. There is beauty, but also struggle, reminding fans that Heartland has always been about the balance between hardship and hope. And then comes the build-up, the heartbeat of the trailer quickening. Music swelling as Nathan's voice breaks the silence. Sometimes you have to let go to hold on to what truly matters. Amy's face flickers. On screen, her eyes filled with both fear and longing. The screen cuts to black, and in bold letters, Heartland Season 19 First Look 2025. Amy and Nathan's emotional story closing voiceover rises with finality. This year, the story continues. This year, the heart of Heartland beats stronger than ever. For Amy, for Nathan, for every fan who has believed in love, family, and second chances. The music fades, the ranch falls silent, and the audience is left holding their breath, waiting for the season that promises to be the most emotional chapter yet. The story of Heartland has always been about more than horses, more than family dinners, more than the beauty of the ranch. At its core, it has always been about the heart, the fragile, unyielding, complicated heart that beats within every character, every scene, every choice. And in Season 19, that heart is louder than ever. As the first look unfolds, fans will notice something different. A weight, a maturity, a sense that this is not just another chapter, but the beginning of a new era. The ranch is still there, as timeless as the Alberta sky, but its shadows feel deeper, its mornings brighter, its winds carrying whispers of change. Amy walks those fields not as the girl we met years ago, nor only as the woman who endured so much, but as someone standing at the crossroads of her life. One path is safe, familiar, predictable, untouched by risk. The other is uncertain, but it leads towards something Amy hasn't dared to imagine in years, the possibility of loving again. Nathan stands as the living embodiment of that choice. He is not painted as a flawless hero. He is layered, complicated, and broken in ways that mirror Amy's own wounds. His presence stirs the ranch like the arrival of a sudden storm, soft at first, but growing, unavoidable, undeniable. In every glance, every shared silence, there is tension. Not the tension of danger, but the tension of possibility. What happens if Amy lets her guard down? What happens if Nathan opens his past to her? What happens if, together, they build something neither of them thought possible? The closing build-up of Season 19 teases these questions, not with answers, but with images that burn themselves into the memory. Amy, holding a photograph, her hand trembling as she decides whether to put it away. Nathan, working alone with a horse, his jaw set, his eyes betraying a sorrow no one else can see. A thunderstorm breaking over the ranch as the family huddles together inside, voices raised in conflict, in fear, in love. Then, silence. Amy and Nathan standing just feet apart in the rain, their breaths heavy, the unspoken between them louder than any words. This is where the season's heartbeat lies, in the space between silence and confession, between loss and hope, between the past and the future. The emotional build-up does not promise a fairy tale, but something far more real, the possibility of healing. For Amy, this season is not about forgetting, it is about remembering with courage, about holding the past in one hand while daring to reach for the future with the other. And for Nathan, It is about discovering that his own brokenness may finally find meaning in someone who understands it. As the teaser nears its end, the pace quickens, the music swells, snippets flash across the screen, Amy's laughter breaking through tears, Nathan's voice carrying through the wind, the family's struggles pulling them tighter together, horses running wild as if echoing the freedom Amy craves. And then, one final image, Amy closing her eyes, exhaling, and stepping forward, not away from her past, but into her future. The screen fades to black. The title card rises. Heartland Season 19 First Look 2025. Amy and Nathan's emotional story. Voiceover closes with a promise, whispered but powerful. This is more than a season. This is more than a story. This is a moment where Amy's heart learns to beat again. And once it begins, nothing will ever be the same. And with that, the silence returns, leaving the audience waiting, breathless, for the season that could redefine the very soul of Heartland. There are television shows that tell stories, and then there are shows that become part of your life, woven into your heart like old songs, like familiar roads, like family traditions that never fade. Heartland has always belonged to the second kind. For nearly 2 decades, it has been more than entertainment. It has been a mirror, reflecting love, loss, resilience, and the enduring strength of family. And now, as Season 19 draws near, that mirror feels sharper, brighter, and more emotional than ever before. This season is not about repeating what has come before. It is about carrying every memory, every triumph, and every heartbreak into a new chapter. It is about showing us that even when the past feels too heavy, the future still waits with open arms. For Amy Fleming, this journey is not simply about surviving. It is about choosing to live, choosing to believe that her heart, though scarred, can still find joy, choosing to believe that her story, though shaped by loss, can still hold light. Nathan's presence is the symbol of that choice. He is not the hero who rides in to rescue her, nor the stranger who exists only to create drama. He's a man with his own shadows, his own burdens, and his own need for healing. Together, Amy and Nathan represent the most human truth of all. That love is not about perfection, but about connection, about seeing someone in their brokenness and choosing to stand beside them anyway. The closing promise of Season 19 is not that Amy and Nathan will ride off into a perfect sunset. Instead, it is that we will witness something braver, the slow, trembling, hopeful steps of 2 people daring to open their hearts again. Fans will not just see a love story, they will feel it in every whispered conversation, every unspoken glance, every moment when silence says more than words ever could, and surrounding them is the world of Heartland itself. The ranch, steadfast, as always, standing tall against storms and seasons. The family, still wrestling with their own conflicts, but bound by love that refuses to break. The horses, running free across the land, embodying the spirit of resilience that has carried this series from the beginning. These are not just images, they are reminders that healing takes time, that family is never perfect but always worth fighting for, and that even in the darkest seasons of life, there is always light waiting at the edge of the horizon. As the season closes its first look, the final images linger like echoes, Amy smiling through her tears for the first time in years, Nathan lowering his guard, his past reflected in his eyes, yet softened by the possibility of tomorrow. The ranch at dusk, painted in gold, as if the land itself knows that change is coming. And then, silence. A silence that does not ache like loss, but hums with anticipation. Season 19 is not just another year on the ranch, it is the emotional turning point fans have been waiting for. It is the reminder that Heartland is not only about holding on to the past, but about finding the courage to let the future in. And so, the promise of Season 19 is simple, but powerful. No matter how many times life breaks you, there will always be another chance, another sunrise, another reason to believe. The screen fades to black. The logo rises,